An often requested sequel is No More Heroes 3, a series that you either really love or really hate, with little room in between. This is also found in the spin-off Travis Strikes Again, a fantastic game that ended with a No More Heroes 3 is in development sequence. So if you really want to stoke a fire, well, that's one way to do it. And now, it's here, 11 years after its predecessor, No More Heroes 3. This title stars everyone's favorite loser, Travis Touchdown, who was having a good old time doing absolutely nothing when aliens show up and poke a giant hole in Santa Destroy. Known as Jess Baptiste VI, or simply Foo, this blue dude has taken a liking to the game of Conquest and made himself the top galactic ranking superhero. He's made a call for other heroes to show up and fight his friends in one-on-one matches as they make their way to the head honcho himself, with the hopes to save the planet. And with no more heroes left to save the day, it's up to Travis to do the honors and take them down. Fu has left Sylvia and the United Assassins Association in charge, so they request an entry fee similar to the original game, leaving Travis to make his way around Santa Destroy and a few other areas to make the cash. This time around though, there's a little twist. You'll need to do requirement battles before you can even pay the entry fee, which will also make you enough money to participate in the ranking battle. Besides the cash, Utopia coins, you can also make small amounts of World and Supernova, some sort of other currency. This is achieved by taking part in silly mini games like mowing the lawn or trash collection, and I found them to be largely unnecessary due to the stakes and the fact that you get enough by doing the required fights. So instead you can spend this weirdly named currency on upgrading your stats, boosting health, attack power, energy, you get the drill. Armed with that trusty knot lightsaber of his, the beam katana, Travis can slice foes with normal or heavy attacks. Normal attacks make quick, rapid combos, whilst heavy attack combos take a bit longer to perform and leave you open, but they also deal a bit more damage. If you want to immerse yourself in the stabbing a little more, you can use a Joy-Con in each hand to match Travis's death glove and use motion to control to recharge the beam katana and get in killer slashes. What does this death glove do? It adds 4 extra skills to your repertoire. A warp kick straight out of Kamen Rider, a force choke that sends an enemy flying, the ability to create a zone that slows down time for enemies and projectiles within, or a zone that damages them over time. They're color-coded so you'll know at a glance which ones are ready to go. Once you're prepared, it's time to take on the ranking battles. These major fights against Fu and his friends are the best parts of the game, where you'll need to use every tool you have to unleash the slaughter. It's easily the best combat this series has had to offer, with some absolutely incredible fights only held by the sound design and light show attacks put on. Each boss fight is entertaining and challenging, pushing your action skills to their limits. The controls aren't as tight as No More Heroes 1, but they also let you play on the offensive much more, leading to a cacophony of slashes and dashes. When playing on the spicy difficulty, it's important to note that the bosses have additional moves in their arsenal, leading to a much more fulfilling experience. I played my first run on normal difficulty called Bitter, but the second I fought a boss on Spicy, I regretted I'd played on anything lower. They're just so much more fun. If you aren't confident in your active skills, you can re-challenge previously defeated bosses on greater difficulties later, so come back when you perfected your skills. In terms of its story, No More Heroes 3 is probably the worst in the series, which really sucks coming right off the back of Travis Strikes Again, whose existential themes led to some great narrative scenes. While many opponents in the previous entries had commonality between them, at least on a thematic level that set up a story, No More Heroes 3 doesn't have anything in that department besides wacky hijinks. Further, removing the dungeon-esque areas before the boss fights makes them feel even more shallow by comparison. It does also mean that a couple of fights that do have that extra build-up really stand out. The comedy and tone of No More Heroes 3 is enjoyable, but unless there's some hidden connection in the Miike films brought up, there's absolutely no substance behind this excuse plot of a story. It likes its misdirection, which is amusing the first few times, but the one joke where expectations are interrupted stops being funny the 5th time it happens. It constantly feels like the game is setting up something really interesting and then never delivers, slamming a door on its own setup, rebuking all payoff. Bad Girl, Bad Man, and Shinobu were also set up to be important in this game, and they have less than 60 seconds of combined screen time. If you removed them, you wouldn't notice, and that sucks. Ultimately, the tone doesn't sustain this story till the end, and left many big sequences at the end of the game feeling tired and empty, and not in a good way. What was the point? There's no catharsis. On a minor note, it also does annoy me that the press A to power on the katana doesn't line up correctly. It should extend out, and then you press the A button before it powers on. That was such a cool detail in the first game that had a bunch of weight for just a single press. No More Heroes 3 is composed of a fantastic combat system with stylish visual flair, but on a narrative level falls flat in every way compared to its predecessors. However, you weren't really coming into No More Heroes 3 for the story, were you? This is why, after completing the adventure, I simply booted it up to play again. I guess the fights are that good. Noisy Pixel is giving No More Heroes 3 a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Noisy Pixel is a group dedicated to bring you guys the best news, reviews, previews, and more. Please stick around by, ringing the bell to stay up to date on all of our future content.
Noisy Pixel.